It really started in 1931 or 32 when the bank opened. My grandpa came over here. That's why we're here. And the bank closed in Lester, Iowa. And basically, my dad had some money, and I think he lost it all because they didn't have no FDIC then. And basically, he banked here, my dad banked here, and we're still banking here. They're just real good people. Joyce's husband that was in here probably is one that I really dealt with, Bob Witt, to start with. And he was a banker that would treat me like a son because he said no sometimes, and he says, go for it. And I really appreciate what he did that. But I always try to give him everything that we owed to everybody. So he knew what we were indebted to. I really miss him. And that was a Paul Barron. He was a real good friend. I could bring tears even. And Joyce is too, yeah. And
my husband was Bob Witt, and he was a loan officer when he came to the bank and when he started. I remember when the guys bought the bank. I remember it was late at night. He came home and he said, I don't know if we're crazy or not, but we bought a bank. I remember that very plainly.
I came here in '77 and of course met Bob and enjoyed working with him all those years. I think he retired in '93, didn't he? At the end of '93. We had a retirement party for him. Well, my first memory goes way back to 1966. I was working for the summer at the Salt Conservation Office, which was next door. And I'd walk by the bank on my way to lunch and wonder what that was like. So I had no connection to it. I grew up on a farm nearby, about 15 miles. But that's my first real recollection of the bank. Well, the short version is that it was during the farm crisis years. And so the bank was under a lot of pressure. A lot of other banks were under pressure. I forget how many banks in Iowa failed. One time we got down to 12 employees in 2 locations. Pretty tough time. We had a chance to buy the bank, we being 5 individuals that were associated with the bank, officers and directors. That was in January 1987. That was exciting and scary at the same time. We talked about it, and one thing I remember is Doris agreeing that we would go for it. Scott was in college at the time. We had some money saved up for college expenses. We had money saved up for other things. We pushed it all across the table. May have even mortgaged our house again. We've done that a few times.
Graduated in 1991, and should have planned a little bit more because I when I was graduating in the spring of '91, I came to talk to my dad and asked him, said, Dad, okay, I'm ready to start working at the bank. But he said, I'm not going to hire you. And so I thought that was kind of, I don't know, a little bit tough love or whatever. But what he wanted me to do was go out and get some experience somewhere else and kind of get my feet under me, make sure I liked banking. Before I came back, I made the commitment to start at Frontier. So I was able to work for about 5 years at a bank in Sioux City. And then in 1995, came to work for Frontier Bank and have been here ever since.
And I always thought when I was growing up that I'd be the farmer. But I went to Iowa State, met other people, including a man named Robert Brenton at Brenton Banks. They offered me a job when I graduated, and I took it. I thought we wanted to live in a small town. So I had some other job offers, but the offer to live in a small town and work in a community bank was attractive, and I took it.
I think over the years, one thing that he talked about many, many times was how much he cared about the employees of the bank. He felt a real responsibility towards them, and also how grateful he was for the customers. He was very appreciative of longtime customers and all of the employees.
Fond memory that I have at Frontier Bank, Marlene Mandicott was kind of involved in this, and she's no longer with us. She retired and moved to Missouri. But one night, we caught it on security footage here at the Rock Rapids location. We had somebody break into the bank, and the alarms went off, and a few of us had to come down. It's kind of scary. I mean, the Lyon County Sheriff's Department shows up, and they're ready with their gun. We're thinking we've got a bank robber. Well, we came through the bank lobby, and we kind of cleared it all out. We figured out there was nobody in there, but there was some damage. We had a window in the bank at the back of the building that was broke, and we had a window in my office that was broke. And so we thought, wow, I wonder what happened. So we went and get the security footage, and we looked at it, and wouldn't you know, we actually had a deer come through the back window. I'm told that actually if a deer sees its reflection, it gets territorial and actually tries to go after that. But it went through the back window, and then did an Olympic kind of jump over the teller line, because you're clearing maybe 6 feet to get over the top of the teller line. Gets out in the lobby, just kind of meanders through the lobby, and like it's looking around, looking for something. And then goes out the back, kind of my front side of the bank through my window. And what I thought was so funny about it is that Marlene Mandicott, she coined the phrase. She said, "I think we had a buck looking for a little doe."
I wouldn't participate.
No, that was at a Little Rock Corn Show. Little Rock is a town east of here. We have a branch there. And for their celebration, they had a bed race, and we had an entry. We didn't win, but I overdid it.
My name is Lisa Krull. I'm the Senior Operations Specialist here at Frontier Bank, and I've been here for 27 years. 90 years for Frontier Bank's anniversary. It's a huge deal. It's a huge accomplishment. There's not a lot of businesses that, ever see that kind of long-term success. And Frontier Bank's had some ups and downs, but, George Snyderman's done a great job of making the bank successful and moving forward. And yeah, it's a great sense of pride to be part of it.
Audrey Klinkenberg, been at the bank for 27 years, started in 1994. I am Freedom Club Coordinator and Trust Administrative Assistant. Some of my favorite customers at the bank are probably people that travel with me a lot. There's quite a few that are regular customers that I have gotten very close to, and I know them more on a personal basis, so it's kind of nice to see their faces when they come in and the hugs that we can share and stuff, and I can ask them questions about their families and stuff. It's great, we're more of a family and stuff because we spend a lot of time together on our trips, and stuff, so it's very, very nice.
I'm Rhonda Groen. I'm the Senior Credit Administrator and Trust Assistant, and I've worked at Frontier Bank for 34 years. I think 90 years is a huge accomplishment for any business, that we can be in the community for that long, especially since in today's world, there's a lot of banks that have closed. And, for different reasons, the bigger banks come in, they kind of, take over. So I think that's huge that Frontier Bank as a small community bank. We can continue to be strong in all of the communities that we work in, and I hope to be around for a few more years before I decide to retire. This is really kind of funny because they were like, the whole bank was like big glass walls. So then if the loan officer had someone, they would slide that big glass door shut. Well, Audra, she was like not paying attention, I guess, and she's gonna walk into that loan officer's room and wham, she like just smacked that door, like almost.
And everybody, actually, they were having a board meeting and they came out and said, "Are you okay?"
She like hit that door hard. Anyways, it just kind of bounced her back, and then the door was fine.
Yeah, the door was fine. And after that, they had to put yellow stickies on the door. So when they shut the door,
they knew it
put
was
a sticky on the door.
So don't walk into the door. Yeah.
Well, back in the mid-90s, Waterbury's was a young, growing company, and we were trying to find and establish a long-term relationship with a banking institution during an era that maybe wasn't quite so busy. And we had the opportunity to visit with Rick at Frontier Bank and his staff, and that's how we started a relationship that we have today.
Basically, they know your name, they're friendly. Personally, we know their background, they know ours. We grew up in the community, been around here all the while, and I'm personally feel indebted to the bank.
Always had a good relationship and always been able to figure out how to get from point A to point B. But there has been times in our business when we had some serious struggles and they were there to help us. And in return, we realized the importance of them helping us so we could in return be their good customer also.
Well, in a way, we have started numerous businesses, if you count starting new branches. And that's always kind of a challenge. You find a location, hire people, set up shop with empty file drawers, a phone, a pencil, a pad of paper, and some people with ambition.
An idea.
So we, I think, understand what an entrepreneur experiences. We've done it 4 or 5 or 6 times. We're not afraid to do it again if we thought we saw an opportunity. But one thing that happens is that the people we talk to are often entrepreneurs, or they were entrepreneurs. They started a business at some point. They started a farm operation. They started a retail store. They stuck their neck out. And when they tell us the story, we can legitimately say we understand what you're doing.
Everything is more automated. Everything is automated.
We used to have when I first started, we had a single pocket proof machine, and you ran every check through this machine. And then we went up to a 12 pocket, and then we went another monster machine, and we used to have to sort all the checks down and into everybody's accounts.
So then you'd have a little statement party at the end of the month where everybody'd sit back and you'd get the drawers out with all the statements. You'd have to count every check, put them in the person's statement, send the statements out. Well, now that's none of that. It's just all a picture of the checks.
One other area that I think that we pride ourselves on is technology. We really feel like it's important for us to stay as close to the innovation as possible that's going on in our industry. If I think back over my time at Frontier Bank, that's been one thing that has changed a lot in banking is technology, the application of technology with banking.
Well, I think Scott's done a great job in keeping our company relevant. There were times when I didn't quite understand why he would want to introduce a new technology or maybe hire a certain staff member. He's been the CEO since 2013. I've learned that most times he's right, so I stay out of his way.
You know, our being a community bank, we're tied to the hip with our customers and our communities. We do well when our communities do well. We know that, and we really promote that inside the bank.
I think Bob will be proud that it's still going strong, and hopefully that it will continue that way, and that they've been able to grow like they have. I think he'd be proud of that, yes.
One thing that comes to my mind when I think about an institution celebrating 90 years is, wow. I mean, in the day that we live today, you know, businesses changing, you know, closing, and to have an institution that's been around for 90 years, you know, definitely provides you some assurance and stability.
So what we got to say, Roger, it'll go up. It'll survive as long as somebody is involved, right?